I'm Joan Lewis. I'm the Consumer and Market Knowledge Officer for Procter & Gamble. And I think we have tremendous opportunity as consumers and brands are co-evolving and really moving at a very rapid pace. We look at this a couple of ways. One is kind of, the way the industry tends to look at it often, which is we need to learn faster. Our digital relationships with consumers and really leveraging social media obviously play a big role there. When we go to the developing world, mobile will be the disruptive technology there. So we're just really starting our experimentation on how do you get mobile to be analogous with social media and how do you reach a much broader segment of the population. But I think we're spending some time going deeper on the trends that are underlying social media. So it's not just the technology is allowing people to relate. People are seeking to relate differently. They're not looking for answers from big companies or big governments or big institutions. So even where there's not technology, social networking is rising in importance. People are looking for their own communities. Even door-to-door sales are growing faster than a lot of more traditional sales because people are leveraging relationships and communities between themselves. I think P&G and most of us are really at the very beginnings of the places mobile will allow us to go. We're looking for ways to talk to people. We have some great apps that go along with a lot of our brands. There's an Always app that allows women to track their cycle. One of my favorite is the Sit or Squat app, which is the Charmin application that tells you if the bathroom's clean or not. And these are really valuable things to people and very easy, quick, small, bite-sized things that people really do engage people a lot on the brands. But we're also trying to figure out how we're learning more effectively through mobile, and I think we're at the very beginning stages. I think we're going to see a lot more of the relationship between shopping and buying and learning all condensing into that one mobile encounter. Maybe in a retail store, literally with people using their mobile phones for information as they do today through Google Goggles or many other programs, or really even other electronic connections where kind of the cycle time between learning about a product and buying a product and our ability to learn something about the consumer's interaction with that product becomes one interaction, just one click. Speed is really important to all of our businesses right now. Consumers are changing fast, our economies are changing faster sometimes, and certainly competitors get sharper all the time. The ways we're looking for speed may be the same or different from other companies. Our first and foremost goal in speed is to get out of our own way. We spend a lot of time inside the company talking to each other instead of outside the company talking to consumers. And our push to continue to transform that so that people are making decisions instead of discussing them inside the company endlessly is really important to us and a really important part of speed. Some of the speakers earlier today talked about either the importance of presenting information in an engaging way or telling stories or finding ways that allow people to internalize the story allows us to drive decisions faster. And there's lots of ways to think about speed, but if there's anything I would want us to do first, it would be to simplify our internal transactions to get to decisions faster. The second way we think about speed though, and you'll hear a lot of people talk about real time. Real-time data could be constant flows of overwhelming data, which really only paralyzes people. It doesn't really help them move faster. Sort of gives you an illusion of moving fast, but not really. So what we're looking for is right time and really looking at what we know today and what we can project forward with what level of confidence and how many degrees of freedom will we have there. So we're doing a great deal of scenario planning on fundamentals like markets and on more creative things like response to digital campaigns. I think one of the ways that we get digital encounters with people and get speed of response is either using communities of people who already exist, so there are now 10 million Pringles fans on Facebook, or finding or creating communities that are willing to interact with us to talk to us about our brands. And sometimes a little bit of both. So the Always brand has the Being Girl website, which everyone should take a look at. It's one of our best websites for encountering girls and allowing them to talk to each other and to share a lot of perspective on growing up. The Being a Girl website created the world's biggest sleepover and had girls talking to each other about information about growing up, had experts available, had chats available, and that gave us a number of insights to weave into the brand communication and to weave into our innovation plans. Similarly, we have done some work with an internal a community we created around laundry that has probably taken out the need for tens and tens of focus groups just by being iterative with consumers. And really, this is an example of where you don't need, quote, representation. What you need are engaged people across a wide enough spectrum that you're going to cover a lot of ground with people and they're willing to talk. We're present on a lot of social media, Facebook and others, and we do like to leverage their sites because we need to meet people where they are. We also want to give people the connection and opportunity to come to our sites and to get more information. And the other thing we're trying to be much more cognizant of is when people are engaged in brands, they might want to buy them. So we're working hard on buy it now kinds of things and opportunities to capture people when they have information in their hands, or at least to guide them to the right retailer who can meet that need. We sometimes bring them to our sites for a broader range of information. So Pampers.com is one of our biggest sites. It covers all kinds of parenting issues from birth till about age 4 or 5, at least through preschool. So bringing people into Pampers.com instead of just engaging through Facebook or another social media site gives us a chance to expose people to a way to answer a lot more of their questions. So there are then sub-communities on the Pampers site with parents with similar issues who are exchanging information, and then we can reach them with branded messages, but also with experts. We host experts who come in for live chats or other ways of providing value to people and building a relationship with the Pampers brand. Media and entertainment will probably be some of the things we need to master going forward, not just because we would want to be a media company. That's not really necessarily a goal, but being engaged with consumers is becoming more about entertainment and capturing people and engaging them and interesting them in ways that I don't think our company would have thought of 5 or 10 years ago. Our biggest digital campaign, the one that has gotten the most attention, is the Smell Like a Man campaign for Old Spice, where Isaiah Mustafa is ubiquitous and has really changed the nature of the conversation about that brand. Has really been great for our business, but been just fabulous for the equity. And much of that campaign, which was by Wieden and Kennedy, was really very intuitively based and very quickly iterated with very quick consumer feedback and a very different way for us to work. The Smell Like a Man campaign by Wieden and Kennedy is definitely one where we've been more leaning forward on iterating with consumers versus developing things ahead of time. But we're pulling that approach into a lot more of our work. Some of the work that you've probably seen from P&G is also the Olympics work from Vancouver last year. We'll be having a large presence in the 2012 Olympics as well. This is the first time we've really gone forward as a company with our company message in the United States. Now we use P&G as an umbrella in a lot of other countries. But we used a lot of those same methods of real-time learning, buzz tracking, cycling learning into executions, deciding which executions would air, all through iterative digital tracking with real consumer voices very, very quickly. And as we did that for Vancouver, we're looking at how we'll do more of that for 2012 and beyond.
So in that scenario, you would actually put different, maybe 30-second TV commercials online, get some reaction, then pull them or leave them up, but also start to air them on TV.
In that example for Vancouver, we did have some 30-second spots that ended up online, but we literally tracked response on TV. So we had one execution which was called Kids, which was a great execution of Olympic athletes as children, and the ending is they'll always be kids to their mom. We had another execution that was You'll Never Walk Alone, that was a song being sung over a lot of scenes through growing up and raising an Olympic athlete. And a lot of our early iterative work with consumers said that one might not break through as much. As we tracked it and response real time instantly on social media as it aired, we upped the weight behind the second one because it ended up being the one that actually pulled people into more of an engagement, more of a relationship. We also, at the end of the Olympics, created a spot we didn't have designed where Wieden and Kennedy had clips from the actual Olympics that were just winding down in their last few days, and created a new spot with current footage. And that's a lot faster than we've been able to go very often. We monitored, for that example, we monitored buzz tracking formally, we monitored consumer comments, we monitored our own website, and really had a 24-hour report every day, synthesizing those things and pulling them together for our most senior leaders. We had a lot of fun with that campaign and really intentionally used it for experimentation to learn more about how to go faster and how to be more engaging versus just selling. Our strategies for online video are not separate strategies for online video. What we're trying to do is have brands that create relationships with consumers, and we relate to consumers through many different media and the ways we show up at retail, the ways we show up in markets, even the philanthropy that we choose to do. So an individual brand will have a larger equity and purpose, and those things get delivered and engage consumers differently. So Pampers has Pampers.com, a very big part of their relationship with consumers. Pampers also sponsors UNICEF tetanus vaccine for neonatal tetanus, 1 pack, 1 vaccine, and is well on its way to eradicating neonatal tetanus. That's because Pampers' purpose is to care for babies' happy, healthy development. So it's good, it creates good for the world, but it's a natural outgrowth of the role that Pampers wants to play in parents' lives and the trust that people have in Pampers. We also have, therefore, video or digital strategies around that, where parents around the world will send in pictures of their kids. We've had a couple of events where people have sent in their pictures and have their own stories posted. We have a lot of places where our brands are trying to spark that kind of engagement and that kind of sharing. And we heard a very wise person last year at Cannes say, you don't really create a community, you add value to an existing community. And we have found that to be really valuable guidance in really finding the sparks of what people want and lending ourselves to those sparks. I think we have some new challenges, but I think we have some old challenges as well. We need really smart, top-performing people, like any industry needs. But we also need people who are intellectually curious, who actually care about consumers, and who exhibit terrific leadership and courage. And we don't always hear leadership and courage as a separate expectation. I don't think they could be more important in the research industry. We are bringing unmet needs, undone tasks, less obvious insights to the table. We're sometimes bringing unpopular news. These are the people who need to lead thinking of everyone around them. And they need to be able to lead by position, by influence, by storytelling, and by engaging people around them. The leadership profile of our best people at P&G I would put our leadership profile at P&G up against any group of people. And our people go into situations all the time, and they have to draw on all those skills to be persuasive and to change the course of the business. We do really want people to actually care about consumers as well. P&G's purpose is to touch and improve lives in more parts of the world more completely. And we've always had a purpose of consumer as boss, or even 20 years ago, still being very consumer oriented. And really that requires our consumer and market knowledge people to be the advocates for that and the catalyst for that, not the gatekeeper. So we want our people to be deeply in touch with consumers, but we want our consumer market knowledge people to be the catalysts who bring others to be in touch with consumers as well.